Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lady Lauren Explorer, and today, I'm still suffering from my crying yesterday because my eye is still red. It's getting better though, so yay! But I was like on a very weird kick yesterday. I was just like, you know what? I want to read something that's going to get me for a minute. And cheating always gets me. So I got some cheating. I read some cheating books. Some were recommended to me, some I found on my own. But we're going to talk about one of them, and I found this on my own, and it's called Overdose by Raven St. Perry. This is over 500 pages. Yeah, it is. It's not, there's no like page numbers. That's the only thing that I have a problem with some of my books is that there's like, it's a big book, but there's no page numbers. So I don't know where to put my, when I'm trying to update on my Goodreads or my Storygraph, I don't know like what number to put. I just know like once you get to the half mark, you're at the halfway mark. So you just put half the number of the books. You know what I mean? But anyways, this is a infidelity, but not the infidelity that you're like normally used to like hearing about. It isn't the main character's infidelity that we're talking about. So we're in for like a wild ride. And I want to say like you're gonna go into this like with like knowing nothing, but like the trigger warnings, because like I didn't know. Okay, how about this? In this story, we have a psychiatrist. She's married. She's actually getting divorced though, and she married her teacher. So they have their own clinic. And they're getting divorced because she found out that her husband, who is almost 2 decades older than her, was cheating on her. And he, on the other hand, he feels like she should have like talked about it, sit with him, like why he cheated. Because like, yes, he cheated, but there's like layers to why he cheated. But we don't get to that until like the end. But this isn't about them, sort of. This is about her new patient who's also a psychiatrist, but she specializes in sex addiction. And her new patient, who's a psychiatrist, has a sex addiction. And he's this gorgeous British man who rides a bike, who is just very sexual and sensual. Love him. And his name is Xander. So her and Xander, it's just an interracial. The first meeting is just so sensual. He's talking about like how when he sees a woman, all he can think about is sex. So he's imagining doing things to that woman. And then he talked about what he had imagined doing to her, Vanessa. Baby. I'm just saying. Ooh. So they have like this attraction. Obviously his attraction is he has a sex addiction. But she's trying to get rid of that, but she's also understanding that like she is being attracted to him, mainly because he's very handsome and very sensual, but also because she hasn't had any sex since her and her husband have separated for months now. So like here's this handsome guy just talking about all the ways he wants to bend you over, eat you out, suck you down. It's just talk to me more. This is a forbidden romance because he's a patient. It's also a thriller. I didn't think it was going to be a thriller, but like things happen in it. It is a thriller. It is a thriller. So I'm going to say, if you don't want to get spoiled, this is about a forbidden relationship between a psychiatrist and her sex addicted patient, who's also a psychiatrist, in their love story. That's all you need to know if you don't want to get spoiled. But if you are wanting to get spoiled, I am about to tell you the trigger warnings. So I gave you enough time. Okay. Here I am thinking, oh yeah, it's just about cheating, and it wasn't the cheating I thought it was. Because I was like, oh, okay, well, it's just the husband who cheated on the woman, and now she's with another man, and cool. Then we find out that the husband is crazy. He's super crazy. And she finds out that, because she's 30 now, she started dating him when she was 20. And she's like, oh, I didn't think that he would go for younger women. And then she's like, oh, I should have known since he went for me. So she found out that he was cheating on her with 20-year-old women. Plausible side plot. Oh my gosh. I didn't expect this. So she starts seeing Xander, and there's a point in time when like they're still patient and doctor, and then they get like really good when like they're not. She has moved on because she understands that like, hey, now that like we have this attraction to each other and we've passed this threshold of like sex, I can't be your doctor anymore, but I still want to be with you, so I'm gonna pass you on to someone else, but I can still be there for you. So we get to that point in the story, and when she comes home, her husband, her ex-husband, has a contract for her to sign because she has violated APA, which is like basically the psychiatry board, whatnot, for having a relationship with her patient, or former patient. He has her sign it because he's going to send all this evidence, which is like pictures of her and him, Xander, together. Pictures that her son has seen. And the father is like, yeah, that guy is dangerous. Blah, 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 blah. So like her son is just like, traumatized by seeing his mother be with a different person, and the person is dangerous. So the father says. And like that's when her husband Simon shows his true colors, because he is evil. At first I thought like he was going to be like not like the bad guy, but mainly the guy that like you just know he cheated, so like he's just there. Like we got past the cheating part. He's trying to get back together with her. She doesn't want it, and he understands that she doesn't want it now. So like he's done. And then he comes around with this. I was thrilled. Then we find out some crazy stuff about him. And this is when like the trigger warnings come in, because I was not prepared for what was about to happen to me. Like I wasn't prepared for any of that at all. And maybe because like I know this is a dark story, and I was trying to figure out how dark it was gonna get, because like I was reading it and I'm just like, I said this is a dark story, and like it's not really dark. Like, okay, I mean, yeah, it's forbidden, but like, all right. Then I found out how dark. So we have her ex-husband who's been cheating on her the whole entire time they were married, but he's been cheating on her with his patients. Did I forget to mention that he deals with children who's lost one of their parents? Yeah, he's having sex with 13 to 16-year-old little girls. I wasn't prepared to, like, she dropped that bomb. Like, so the lead up to this is like, oh my gosh, Xander finally, like, she tells Xander about the contract, and he's like, okay, we just need to find some stuff on him, and we can get the contract done and all that kind of stuff. But when they find out, like, she's, like, sick. But I just thought it's because, like, he had been cheating on her through the whole entire relationship. So, like, even when he went on those business trips, he was cheating. And that's, like, it was, like, said, like, while he was on those business trips, they weren't really business trips. He was just meeting with his lovers. It wasn't until the confrontation that we find out that it's little girls. Because, like, she starts naming them off, and then, like, he, like, his, because he's white, his, like, the blood drains, and it's, like, he was, like, pasty. That's what it's described as. I was like, dang. Like, I can actually see that, like, going pasty. Oh, gosh. And then she gives out the numbers, and I was like, wait, what? I just thought they were, like, women. Like, I mean, there's a lot of women, but, like, I 15, 15, 15, 16, 13, 16, 15. I was like, what? And then there's pictures. Oh my, and then he's like, that's his addiction. Like, that's his problem. He is a sexual predator for little girls that he is a patient of. Like, that's his patient. Those are his patients. He's messing around with his patients, the most vulnerable set of body. I was so crazy. I was just like, what? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So yeah. Spoiler. Just saying. But before that, everything leading up for it, like, it was just so good. I gave it like a 5. This was really great. And I can't believe this, but, like, this is the middle of a series. I thought this was standalone. This is the middle of a series. So this is the second book in the series. There's a trilogy. I think all of them are all standalones. They're not interconnective. I guess I won't know until I read the other 2. Which I'm gonna do, because this one was great. And if I gave the second one a 5, that means the first one has to be a 5, right? Like, it has to. You know? We shall see. I do know the third one is a love triangle between 2 brothers. And from, like, what the reviews say, some people don't like the brother she ends up with. So, I'm going to see. But yeah, this was really great. And if you like a good forbidden, juicy, very, very steamy thriller, then go for this, because this was great. I definitely loved it. But let me tell you the cons, because I was just, see, like, the thing about it is, I know this because I don't know why I know this. I just know this. I didn't understand why her husband would go to the board of psychiatry for having a relationship with a patient. Oh, no, I understood that. But in this book, they're still together. So if it was wrong to do this, then why would you still be together, you know? In some states, you can actually date your former patient. It has to be like a certain amount of months after they're your former patient that you can date them and marry them and all that kind of stuff. In other states, no matter how much time has passed, if they're your former patient, then you can't date them at all. So then I was just thinking, I was like, okay, like, when I first read this, I was like, oh, okay, so they're in a state that, like, you can't date your former patient at all. But at the end, they're still dating. Because I was just like, why would she sign a contract? You know what I mean? Like, why? If you can date your patient, then it didn't matter if you went to the board. Yeah, it's like side eye, because that's just for a patient. But, like, it's not a crime like it is in other states. And I was just like, you know? Like, that was like, oh, one thing that was, and it didn't tell us the state, so, like, I don't know. Then the other thing is, he's a sex addict. and she's treating him, and how they go about this addiction thing is really like, for other people, like her other people, it really like seemed like they cared about this, like studying it and like trying to show you what you're supposed to do when things come up like this, especially as mainly just talking about it to your partner and trying out things and making both you and your partner comfortable with your addiction and how to satisfy it. When it comes to Xander's case, it almost seemed like his addiction transferred from like wanting to have sex just like all the time with different women just to satisfy him, to just focusing on having sex with Vanessa. And that's how he was kind of like cured. But that is like, that's not true. Like, that's not how addictions work like that. Like, you don't just like transfer your addiction to someone else and focus on that one person and call it a day. Like, that's not how it did. But I like how, even though he did transfer to Vanessa and he just wanted to have Vanessa every which way he could, whenever he could, he still went to therapy. So I was like, it was a pro and a con. So I was just like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense, but this is a story, so I can't be mad at it. But yeah, so like I said, 5 out of 5. I will be reading the other 2 books in the series, and I can't wait to do that. You all should read this if you are okay, like getting trigger warnings with that pedophilia thing, death of a parent, sex addiction, blackmail, just saying. But this is very good, very steamy, and I loved it. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. My name is Lady Lauren Explorer, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!